Hello! I am so glad that you could be here today. My name is Rich, the channel is called New Memphis, and you know who really gets a bad rap? Filthy Necrons. Necrons, that's what they're called. I always forget they actually have a name. When they find a group of injured guardsmen, they're always willing to donate plasma. And that's not even mentioning the work they've done to combat the 40k universe's most virulent sexually transmitted disease. Life. But you could not possibly hate Necrons more than our hero of the week, who is... Sorry, what was his name? Dayak Grek. I mean, sure, why not? I think I'll probably just end up naming him after one of my main inspirations for his color palette. So be sure to subscribe, or McKroot will use his ultimate on you. Ultimate? Is that what it's called? I don't know. The only multiplayer game I play is Vermintide 2, and once you give Kruber the Executioner's Sword, you basically don't even need abilities. Anyway, leave a like or a comment if, and only if, you like the content and you want to see it promoted in the algorithm. It does help a lot. If you want to leave negativity, also fine. I should warn you, it does still help the channel, so I guess just be aware of that. And for this week, I realize it has been way too long since we have featured my favorite beer of all time, which is Fat Tire, of course. It's been so long. Oktoberfest has just absolutely derailed us, but now we're getting back to basics. That's the good stuff right there. Let's get started. I had so many ideas walking into this project. Multiple stages of kit bashing, an entire rainbow of colors. But I looked at all the pieces I had pulled, and honestly, I decided to pull it way back. My first rule of kit bashing is that if you can get away with just not replacing the part, then don't. But I knew I still wanted to at least use these scarabs for the project. They'll make cool basing material. However, last minute I did decide to keep these already based scarabs on their base, as I still have some on the sprue that I can just take right off. I also still have this arm and weapon left over from our human Necron we painted last week. So while we're already using the scarabs, I figured we may as well fit that in somehow. I considered maybe putting it beside the rifle as like a second barrel, or strapping it to the side, but it just didn't look good. I thought about placing it coming out from under his cloak, but it's just way too long, especially since the rifle is already so short and... Wait. Hang on a second. Much better. Here's McKroot after swapping those barrels and attaching the scarabs. That rifle looks absolutely fearsome. Here he is after one layer of primer, Death Guard green. But we still have to add the material for our Arctic bases. That's just Elmer's glue and super glue, spread with an old paperclip. After the priming was done, I took a second look for some inspiration for this model. You already know one source. However, it turned out so well when I based Janus's weaponry off my previous Trader Guard, so to try and mimic that success, I thought we might do something similar for our tracker. This paint job will start with dark vermilion across most of the rifle. And once that was dry, we'll use gold on the rest. Since I had so much left over, I thought, might as well use it on the scarabs as well. That looks quite nice, but it's far from done. Next, for his skin, I wanted a very bold green, since it's a color we haven't, well, used much in this box set. Light green should be bright enough to help McKroot stand out on a busy tabletop. We'll use mahogany brown for some of the armor panels and just a few of the head spike things. we'll use London Grey pretty sparsely, just for a few of his tools and the Necron arm. I still want this model to be mostly earth tones to convey that cowboy feeling. Then we can use cork brown for the remaining straps and a few more spikes. To copy these traders and their iconic guns, we'll need to mix a wash of Vallejo Black Red, one of my favorite paints. I thought about just applying it to the rifle, but decided to throw it all across the model. We have so many browns and earth tones that I think it will help tie everything together. Just for his skin, we'll take a small amount of my regular black wash and add a touch of dark Prussian blue. Continuing with even more washes, we'll need white to start the glowing effects on the guns. And once all of that was dry, we can finally start the final round of highlights with our original colors, including light green, London Grey, and cork brown. This cape is only the primer, Death Guard green, and the black-red wash over top. But let's try adding highlights of cork brown and see how it looks. I really like that, actually. This is really starting to come together. Finally, it's time to finish off that glow with some blue-green and a few white touches. But I think I'll save that for the big reveal. It's high noon. Just kidding, it's actually like 9 in the morning. But you should subscribe anyway. And before I go off on another tangent, well, let's get on to the good part. Alright. Let's talk about 2 things I like about the model, and one thing I want to do better next time. Boy, is that gun cool! I'm very, very excited about that. I didn't think it would look as good as it did, but that gun turned out really, really well. That blue-green was an incredible color. So happy that it paired so well. I guess my praise, my first one, is just a general sense of the color palette. The gun to skin and then to the glowing effects in 3 different points. It also just really God, just that angle at which you see all those colors and how it draws your eye through is just absolutely perfect. It worked out really well. Next, the cloak turned out way better than I expected. I did not think that the wash directly over the primer would look quite as good as it did, but it did. I'm always looking for new ways to make leather. I always want to experiment with new ways to paint different materials. It's one of the reasons that my favorite, faction in Age of Sigmar is the Lizardmen. I like doing interesting textures that's not just all metal all the time like 40k is, where everything is either robots or armor. So it's cool to get to find a new way to do a material that I've done in the past. So that's just, it works out very well. And now I'm gonna add a third thing on actually, which is that Kitbash, the robot arm. Screw it, we'll make that my thing that I'm not super happy about. The robot arm coming out of his rear holster looks a little weird. I kept it that tight against his body and going into the crook of his knee, specifically so that it would have extra security. I glued that to him so that it was less likely to break off. I wish I had angled it maybe a bit further out so that it wasn't quite so tight in there. It looks okay, and I'm still glad that it's there. Like, I'd rather have it there in a slightly awkward position than not. I think it's a really cool little detail, just having his little extra gun just coming out when he has the long rifle, because you can't shoulder that thing quickly. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support. You guys are amazing as always. The channel is continuing to grow, which is so exciting to see. I'm just so grateful, and I will see you guys in the next one.